Hi guys, so this is the Corris van that I built a few weeks back. I decided to get a couple of 3D printed parts to finish it off. The figure I went for is the leaning goods guard, purely as I wanted the figure holding onto the grab handle inside the van. The second item is the GWR tail lamps. There's 5 in a pack and they come with tiny red lenses. The parts are all cut from the printed supports. The lamps are hollow on the bottom, so you could swap them out between the trains. However, I find that hole ideal to ram a cocktail stick up for painting. They were sprayed in black before dry brushing a mix of black and light antique white for a warm look. I don't use white alone as it's a bit too much of a contrast. The mixing with the black tones it down. The tiny lens needs attaching now. Since it's translucent, I use a gluing glaze by Deluxe Materials. Dabbing a bit on with a cocktail stick and pressing the lens on. The glue gives time for adjusting the lens position before it dries. I glue the lamp onto the van with a dot of superglue Powerflex. This is a gel and won't run down the van side. Again, like the gluing glaze, Powerflex doesn't set instantly like normal superglue, which is perfect for this. No one likes a wonky lamp. So, onto the figure. Like the lamps, he is first cut from the printed frame. Be careful here as you don't want to snap off a limb. I should disclose at this point, I am no way a miniature figure painter, and I suggest you search for the likes of Nightshift or Miniac for better techniques. I scraped the knife blade along where the supports were cut off, just to smooth it out. I'm just testing where the guard's going to stand. I wanted him hanging on, but standing on the exterior step. And yes, the layout will be pre-health and safety. He looks like he'll fit nicely. The cotton bud is now glued onto the underside of his foot, ready for painting. He's first lightly sprayed with a grey car primer, as the paint won't key onto a 3D surface too well. I start with the skin on the face and hands. I use a base layer of Citadel Haydn flesh tone. The colour is too orange for the skin tone I'm looking for, so the next coat is Flayed One Flesh. It's not an ideal name, even if skin flaying is an effective torture method. Anyway, this colour is brushed down from above to catch the highlights. In this scale, I don't really bother painting eyes. They're too small and look cartoonish if added. And as you'll see, a wash will put his eyes in the shade of his hat anyway. Being an older gent, our guard is given grey hair. The skin areas are now given an upside down wash of Rakeland flesh shade. Being upside down, the wash settles where shadows would form. Onto his clothes. His jumper is painted in dark blue, mixed from night blue and black. The rest of his suit will be a plain black. The main tip to take at this stage is just to get the model covered. It doesn't matter how tidy you are, just slap it on and make sure you cover everything. You can soon tidy up the edges later. But for now, we'll just get the figure painted in its basic colours. This model needed 2 coats for good coverage. And as the first coat was drying, I also painted his shirt and tie. I'm now tidying up where the black of his suit meets the blue jumper. I now dry brush a mix of black and light antique white from above all over his clothes. Again, trying to show the highlights on the figure. Every part of the model, apart from the skin, is given a coat of black wash. This will settle in the folds of the clothes. I use a clean brush to wipe away the excess on the highlighted areas. Finally, the guard is glued into position on the van. Just a dot of Powerflex glue on his foot and the side of his head where it touches the van. I just make sure that his hand looks like it's touching the grab handle inside the van. And it's done. As I say, figure painting isn't my forte, but I think he looks convincing enough, and it really adds life to the van. And it shows there's always room for additional detail. Anyway, thanks for watching and subscribe to keep up with the weekly videos. Cheers.